So initially the question seems to be what happens after somebody's arrested for DUI? Are they allowed to just drive? And the answer is this: we actually typically will give a temporary driver's license, if you will. It's called a DS-367. The DMV actually provides as a form. And so they actually receive this copy, this pink copy, as a temporary driver's license if they're driving under the influence of alcohol. And so we would give them this information. If they have their driver's license in their possession, we would take that driver's license and we would give the remaining section of this packet, this DS-367 packet, to the DMV with that driver's license. And what this pink copy does is not only gives them a temporary driver's license for 30 days, but it also informs them that they have 10 days to contact the DMV to set up an admin per se hearing. Anytime you have a DUI, there's two separate processes that occur. One is the criminal process to determine whether or not the person is guilty of drinking and driving, or driving under the influence, I should say. And then there's also the admin per se hearing through the DMV that determines whether or not they're going to be able to keep their driver's license. So at the time that Ms. Malahan was arrested regarding the horrific traffic collision that happened on I-680, she did have her driver's license in her possession. She was a valid driver. She had a valid driver's license. And there was no prior DUI convictions on her DMV record.
So does that mean then, after her first incident in Pleasanton, that she has been through the court system and all that, if she had a license on her then?
And that would be something that the Alameda County District Attorney's Office would have to answer to see how far along she is in the process with the criminal hearing and the criminal process. And then in terms of where she was at in terms of the admin per se hearing, that would be something that the DMV would have to respond to.
So she had a valid license. She didn't have a pink slip. She didn't have a temporary license, a provisional license. It was
An actual
actual license card.
Right, she had her actual valid California driver's license in her possession at the time of the traffic collision. Whether or not she was issued a pink slip, that's something that I don't know. Again, that's something that Pleasanton Police Department would have to respond to.
But if she has it, then if she had her card, then she didn't have her she didn't have a temporary one then.
Not necessarily. This temporary driver's license, so on the DMV record, it's going to show that she is a valid driver, because as we all know, we're all innocent until proven guilty. Same thing applies for both the admin per se hearing as a driver and also for the criminal process of whether or not she was driving under the influence of alcohol. So if somebody's issued the DS-367, the temporary driver's license, as far as the DMV is concerned, they have a valid driver's license. It's once DMV makes the determination they shouldn't be driving, we're going to suspend the driver's license, that is when it's going to show up in our computer, excuse me, on the DMV database that they're a suspended driver or a restricted driver.
Earlier that once you're arrested or suspected, you're given the pink slip, but then they take away your license and give you a pink piece of paper for a temporary license. That's
right. If that driver's license is in that person's possession, then we can take it. There's also instances where we'll arrest someone for DUI. They don't have their driver's license in their possession. Would we issue them a DS-367 temporary driver's license? Yes, we would, even though we don't have their driver's license. And it would be incumbent upon them to turn over that driver's license to the DMV. And like I said, they have 10 days to contact DMV. This DS-367 is good for 30 days. However, it's my understanding that DMV can actually extend it past the 30 days, but that's a question for DMV. We don't deal in that process after that point.
So I know you don't know specifically what happened, but if she already had her physical card back, does that mean that she did already go through what was the per se hearing that you said? Does that mean she already?
Per se hearing.
Does that mean she had already gone through that hearing if someone got it back?
and I wouldn't have any information to know that. Again, between DMV, Alameda County District Attorney's Office, and Pleasanton Police Department, they would know where she's at in all those processes regarding the first incident. In terms of the incident that CHP is investigating, the DUI fatal traffic collision that CHP is investigating, right now, and this is something that we're just releasing now, it is a drug-related DUI. So it's a drug-related DUI, and in that case, the rules are different as far as we do not take a driver's license for a drug-related DUI because of the way the law is written. And same thing for the as far as the DS-367 does not need to be issued because we don't need to issue a temporary driver's license. As far as the DUI, as I was explaining, it is considered a drug-related DUI. We're not releasing what that drug may or may not be. It's something that we're still waiting on in terms of the test results, the blood results.
So you won't, go ahead.
So, this is very confusing. Can you talk about her prior, suspected, prior arrests as it relates to, drug or alcohol-related arrests? I'm told that she was arrested in August the 23rd for a suspected DUI in Fremont. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can't talk about any of her prior DUI. My understanding is that it was out of Pleasanton. If it was out of Fremont, that's something that's news to me and we'll have to look into. It's not necessarily part of our investigation. Our investigation is specifically into what led up to the horrific traffic collision that happened on I-680 in San Ramon.
So again, just to be clear, she had a actual card license, not a temporary license.
She had her valid California driver's license in her possession at the time that she was involved in the traffic collision on I-680 in San Ramon.
Kind of in a nutshell, again, when somebody has their license taken away, they're given this pink slip. How is it extended? How are they able to continue driving for 2 or 3 months?
Because like I said, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. So with that said, we're making the arrest based on our observations, our training, and also the standardized field sobriety test and/or drug recognition evaluation that's conducted. Once we make the determination this person is impaired while they're operating a vehicle, and in this case they were impaired while operating a vehicle that resulted in a fatal traffic collision, we make the recommendations based on everything that we're seeing, all the evidence that we're seeing. We make the recommendation to DMV that the driver's license be suspended. We make the recommendation to the district attorney's office that they be charged with, in this case, gross vehicular manslaughter, as well as felony driving under the influence. So, by law, if somebody is involved in a traffic collision and their DUI and it's an alcohol DUI, a DS-367 DS-367 temporary driver's license is issued, and their driver's license is taken and submitted to DMV, so long as they have that driver's license within their possession.
Okay.
If it's drug related, the DS-367 is not issued and the driver's license is not taken, and that's just because that's the procedure.
How do you feel about the law being like that then? If you can take it away for alcohol, but you can't take it away for drugs?
I don't look so much in terms of what I feel. It's not my job to weigh in terms of opinion. Our job as CHP officers and as law enforcement officers is to enforce the laws that are on the books to the best of our ability.
Good.
Does that mean then there is, from this most recent one, there is no additional limitation on her driving privilege as of now at all? Since it wasn't alcohol related?
In terms of her driver's license, yeah, she still has her valid driver's license. Obviously, the first case is probably going to affect whether or not that driver's license remains valid, depending on where she's at in terms of the DMV. As far as what this is gonna look like in terms of her driver's license, that's gonna be a DMV question. In terms of what happens to her, as far as what she's gonna be charged with, that is definitely gonna be an Alameda County District Attorney's Office. I can't elaborate further because now I would be talking on behalf of their agencies.
Got
But-
it. I guess, but just to clarify, so her license wasn't taken in a San Ramon crash?
Her driver's license, I think that CHP Dublin does have the driver's license in their possession. However, CHP Dublin has to issue that driver's license back to her because a DS-367 is not completed for a DUI crash. But unfortunately, she was involved in 2 DUIs in a very close proximity, and the last one resulted in a loss of life. If there's anything that I can add to this in this moment, while everybody seems to have their eyes on this horrific tragedy, is to realize the magnitude in terms of the responsibility of driving. We have a lot of people that are taking medications, drugs, they're taking alcohol, and then they choose to get behind the wheel of a vehicle. We have people that are paying more attention to their phone than the road ahead of them. And every person that's around us on that freeway, that's a precious life. That's somebody's loved one that's out there. And if anything, we hope that this is a reminder to everyone, every motorist that's out there, that driving is a serious responsibility, and all it takes is one mistake to drastically change the lives of so many people. It's heartbreaking.
I don't know if you can speak to this at all. Do you think there was any difference at all in the way this, I mean, I think I know the answer. Do you think there was any difference at all in the way this was handled based on her family situation, that she's the wife of a law enforcement officer? Or does,
That doesn't even weigh in. We didn't know who she is at all. All we know is we have a motorist that slammed into another vehicle, and we have to start from scratch. We have to start the investigation. Well, what happened? What led up to this traffic collision? Then as we start piecing things together and we realize that she's under the influence of something, that's when we called out a drug recognition expert to do the drug recognition evaluation on the subject. So from there, we had her treated medically, and after she was treated medically, she was arrested and booked into Martinez Detention Facility in Contra Costa County, and we are recommending charges of gross vehicular manslaughter and felony DUI. So the way that we handle this process, everything from whether or not a DS-367 is issued, to the charges, to the way that we investigate, is standard operating procedure across the board.
Can you tell us how you came to the conclusion that it was drugs? Obviously, it's a different case than alcohol, so what led you to believe that it was drugs?
I wasn't the investigator on scene, so I can't speak to what happened in that particular instance, what led the investigating officer to rule out alcohol. But essentially, as I can speak on a more broad sense, that essentially as officers, when we go out to a scene and maybe we see signs of impairment, but they're not indicative of alcohol impairment, then we'll look at what else is going on. That's when we would call a drug recognition expert, have a drug recognition evaluation conducted, and from there, that drug recognition expert will look at all the signs that they're seeing and be able to either look at it as, is this a medical issue that this person is having, or are they exhibiting signs of a specific drug category.
Got it. Did you guys find any paraphernalia in her car?
I don't know, and that's something that we can look into.
We're all done. Thank you very much.